Franklin Delano Roosevelt, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President.
It's 1933. America has a new president. He inherits a nation in the throes of a worldwide depression. Since the stock market crash of 1929, more than 100,000 American businesses and banks have failed. 11 million Americans, 1 out of every 3 wage earners, are out of work. Throughout the country, faith has given way to doubt, optimism to despair, hope to fear.
What we have to fear is fear itself.
The new president acts boldly, launching ambitious programs to put the unemployed back to work. But recovery is slow. By 1935, 9 million Americans are still without work. In a nation increasingly divided by class as well as by race, frustration mounts, at times erupting into violence. Throughout the industrialized world, the 1930s are not only hard times, they're also dangerous times. In Italy and Germany, fascist leaders feed populist fears and inflame nationalist ambition. Promising order in place of chaos, their solution to economic crisis is mobilization for war. In Japan, an island country lacking in natural resources, the military pledges freedom from economic dependence on other nations. Embarking on an aggressive policy of expansion, they begin by occupying Manchuria in 1931 and follow with an invasion of China. October 1935, Italian dictator Benito Mussolini orders his army into Ethiopia. March 1936, Adolf Hitler, in a brazen violation of the Versailles Treaty, remilitarizes the Rhineland. Then in July 1936, civil war erupts in Spain after fascist forces under General Francisco Franco attempt to overthrow the democratic government. Americans are aware of the gathering storm abroad, but most want to remain neutral. Remembering the high cost of the last Great War, they don't want any part of the conflict. The nation turns in. In Europe, driven by the dream of a greater Germany, Adolf Hitler brings Austria into the Third Reich. He then demands the return of the Sudetenland, a region of Czechoslovakia with many German-speaking inhabitants. Hoping to avert war, British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain agrees to Germany's annexation of the Sudetenland.
People never to go to war with one another again.
6 months later, Hitler responds to this act of appeasement by seizing more of Czechoslovakia. Some Americans now believe that war is inevitable, but isolationist sentiment remains strong. September 1st, 1939, Germany invades Poland. Great Britain and France declare war.
We want no war.
America is still unwilling to join the fight. The country is also unprepared. In 1939, its military ranks only 18th in the world. In spring 1940, Hitler's armies are again on the attack. Norway and Denmark, then the Netherlands and Belgium collapse before the Nazi onslaught. By mid-May, German forces have driven the French army and their British allies back to the sea. A week after Dunkirk, the Wehrmacht enters Paris.
Hello, America. This is Edward Murrow speaking from London. There were more German planes over the coast of Britain today than at any time since the war began.
The Blitz, the German bombing of London, stuns Americans. But the courage of the British and their new Prime Minister Winston Churchill wins their admiration.
increased production facilities.
Convinced that America must help Britain, the last remaining European power, Roosevelt adopts a two-pronged strategy: to hope for peace, but prepare for war. He urges Congress to institute the nation's first peacetime draft. At the same time, he pledges not to send American sons to fight in foreign wars.
192.
In early 1941, the clash between isolationists and those who want to intervene heats up.
That it would be disastrous for us to enter this war abroad.
Roosevelt introduces a program to increase military aid to Britain.
With aggressor nation.
The arsenal of democracy. The bill passes. America will help its ally, but not with troops. It's June 1941. The Nazis invade the Soviet Union. 1 month later, Japan, now allied with Germany and Italy, seizes French Indochina. Roosevelt responds. He bans oil shipments to Japan and freezes Japanese assets in the U.S. Tension builds. Japanese and American diplomats meet to discuss the embargo. In October, German U-boats sink a U.S. vessel in the Atlantic Ocean. The 12th American ship destroyed by Germany. By now, protests from the isolationists are steadily diminishing. War with Germany seems inevitable. December 7th, 1941.
1941.
Japan, not Germany, launches a surprise attack against the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Their target, a naval base on the Hawaiian island of Oahu. A place few Americans have heard of, but none will ever forget.
The unprovoked and dastardly attack
Pearl Harbor.